So while we were away, we were both obviously traveling. We were in Cape Town around the same time, and only saw each other after a grueling
Oops.
marathon. It was a lot of
Sure.
fun. But usually when I travel, I always take something gaming with me, and now I have the choice between like a Steam Deck or a Switch. And I was just
Damn.
like, you know what, the Steam Deck, bit bulky. I haven't given love to my Switch in a very long time. And Shani's like, you don't give me love either, but you know.
Like, that's beside the point.
Yeah. And you know, with the Switch 2 coming out, we should chat about impressions of that as well. But the Switch 2 coming out, I'm like, listen, let me get to a few things here that I, haven't had the chance to get to. And I usually, like I do, I pick a game when I go away to kind of just, this is the game I'm going to play when I have an hour or two spare.
Yeah.
And this time I chose Metroid Prime Remastered, which funnily enough was
Nice.
the last like game that I tried to play when I was in Cape Town. And I just kind of like fell off of it. So I started it from scratch. It turns out I'd only played like an hour and a half last time, which is crazy. I thought I'd played a lot more. And I ended up finishing it because it's actually not that long. It's like, it's sort of like Metroid Dread. It's like 10 hours or so.
Oh, no. Say no more.
Yeah, it's totally like a thing you can finish in a couple of days. Perfectly paced, in my opinion. Doesn't overstay its welcome. And you know what? This game fucking rules, man. Like, I get it now. People talk about Metroid Prime as this big flashpoint for the series and this big Nintendo title. And I totally get it. This game is just so cool. When I first tried to play it, I hadn't played Metroid Dread, so maybe having Dread, kind of pushed me through this. It's definitely not as, I think, difficult as Metroid Dread. Like, Dread got fucking hard with some of those boss fights, and this is more like it's an action and exploration game. You, if you're watching the footage now, you actually scan a lot of things. So a lot of puzzles, you get into a room and you're like, well, how do I get out of here? And it turns out you need to go into like your visor scanning view and scan a console to unlock a door or learn something new for the story. So you're scanning a lot of stuff. There is combat, of course. It doesn't feel like the focus point of the game. A lot of it is exploration, finding out where to go, exploring these big interconnected maps, and just, the core loop of a Metroid, not a Metroid, but like a Metroidvania, finding upgrades, going back into previous areas, using those upgrades to unlock new spaces to explore, and et cetera, et cetera. And I think there's a good cadence of unlocking new stuff and unlocking interesting stuff, and then being like, oh, cool, yes, I know now of the 5 places I need to go to check this shit out. And I don't know if this is a thing that they changed for the remastered version or whatever, but if the game kind of detects you're kind of not sure where to go, like, for example, if I've spent like 20 minutes or half an hour like kind of fumbling through areas and not really figuring out where to go, it will ping the map and be like, hey, there's this anomaly or whatever in this area. You should go check it out. And it kind of just like shows you an area of a map and is like, you should maybe go look at something here. And that is a gentle nudge into here's where you need to progress for the main path again. Which I kind of appreciated because, these games can get a bit overwhelming with remembering where everything is.
Yes.
And I think it's something that Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown actually solved really well with its like the whole snapshot thing you could do. So yeah, I think it allows you to play the game at a brisk pace while also feeling like you're making dynamic progress. Yourself naturally progressing through it. And I think, I finished it within a week. It was great. I had a really good time. I think the last boss is absolute bullshit. Because it's like a fucking 3-phase boss, and if you die, you start from the first phase, and these phases feel like grinds because you don't do tons of damage. It's that last boss really kind of soured the ending for me, but other than that, really good game.
I wonder,
really phenomenal time.
If that feature you spoke about where it like gently nudges you, if that was in the original, because it's the sort of thing where I think wouldn't exist back in this games. launch era.
I agree. I
where,
think that's something they added.
yeah, you
Yeah.
just have to fumble your way through. So not verified, but it does strike to me very much, late to 2020s
Mm.
quality of
And
life improvements.
Nintendo does do this with their sort of re-releases. I mean, this was a while ago now, but The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask, when it got the remake re-release on the 3DS, I know the big change there was you got a notebook. I think it was called the Bomber's Notebook, whatever. But it basically lets you track what you wanted to do in a day, or like core things you wanted to do in each cycle, so that you had like a game plan going into each new day, which wasn't
Yes.
present on the old version. So it was kind of confusing as to what you were busy with or what objectives you still needed to complete, and that made a massive difference to that game.
Yes.
So a lot of these quality of life things, I think it's smart that they retain the original feel of the game. I think Metroid Prime Remastered is borderline a remake in terms of visuals, but they've kept the core exploration and the core combat feel, but just added the little things that make it a bit more palatable for a modern audience. And I appreciate those sorts of things. So I think you'd have a really good time playing this.
Yeah,
And
I need to get to it.
yeah, having played it now, Metroid Prime 4, I'm super excited now because that just seems like more of this, and I'm so down for it.
And you
Yeah.
know that they are going to do 2 and 3 at some stage. They have to.
Yeah, I mean, good old Jeff Grubb at Giant Bomb, or I guess not Giant Bomb anymore. He said for the longest time that 2 and 3 were ready, ready to go. They weren't as big overhauls as this one, but that they were going to be released on Switch, and that still hasn't happened. So maybe they'll just do it
Switch
on
2.
Switch 2, yeah, something like that. It is kind of weird that they haven't done it before Prime 4 is coming out, but
Yeah.
Metro Prime Remaster was a shadow drop. They announced it at a direct, and it was like, it's out today. So they could fucking do that before. They could do it whenever.
Yeah.
It's a good time. I think you'd really enjoy it, knowing how much you enjoy Dread,
Yeah.
and how much you enjoy Metroidvanias in
It's
general.
on the list of
A good time.
never-ending games to play.